bit later.
Okay.
Hold on.
Lovely.
There we go. Let's go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and assembled company, wherever you are in this big wide world, greetings to you, and may your life be wonderful. And today, it might be afternoon for you. It might be morning. In our case, it's early evening in the UK. I'm not sure what it's like in what's happening in Lincolnshire. It's probably a different century.
It's a bit wet. A bit wet.
A bit wet here as well.
Right. Yeah. So there won't be songs from Lincolnshire because Lincolnshire is very flat, but there might be stories. Sorry about that.
Was that a pun, John?
So I'm going to.
It took me a while to get that, but I'm there now.
I'm gonna hand the floor or the screen or the virtuosity,
I like that,
to Justin Demille for Tales and Tunes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Lovely to have you back. You've not been for a while. So welcome everybody to Tales and Tunes, which is our story round open mic songs. To be honest, you can have a philosophical discussion on here. It's fine. Whatever you want to do. And what we normally do is we start off with a bit of interactive storytelling from me, a bit of extreme storytelling. So I shall create a story for you entirely from your ideas on the spot. And then we'll go around. I think, Keith, you're the only one that's definitely going to do something. We'll go to you first. Was that Babasy going, yes, me as well? Okay, good.
I'm going to do something.
And John's going to do something. See, all I've got to do is say only Keith's doing it. Everyone else is like, me. So anything you want to sing a song, play a tune, anyone else that wants to join halfway through, you're very welcome to do so. I will at some point remember to put my PayPal link in the chat. If you would like to support my storytelling work, then do that when I remember to do it. Always takes a while. Is there anything else I need to say? Is there? Should we start making up our first story then? What do you reckon? Is that a yeah? Nod. Good. Okay. So how extreme storytelling works, if you haven't been before, but I think most of you have, is basically we start off with 3 facts. I start telling the story, and as I need input from you, then I ask you, and you can shout stuff out, write it in the chat, whatever you want to do. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the Facebook stream if anyone's posting in there, but I can't get it up at the moment. If someone can find the Facebook stream and just keep an eye on it in case anyone wants to stick suggestions in there, that would be awesome. In the meantime, though, let's start off with what or who you would like to be the hero, the heroine, the protagonist of your story this evening. Who would you like it to be about? Obviously, like me. It's going to be all about me. And any advance on Babasy? Let's have 2 or 3 suggestions.
Well, let's have a schoolgirl.
A schoolgirl, okay.
So far,
I was going to say a black stallion.
A black stallion. Wow. Okay. Well, there's like really. You're just pointing yourself again, Babasy. Okay.
I'm a black stallion.
So we have a choice between a black stallion or a schoolgirl at the moment, or Babasy, who may be a combination of those things. Which it was only from the naughty element of it. Anyway, who would give us a wave if you would like your story to be about a black stallion? There's one wave from Keith. Okay, and Avita as well. Okay, give us a wave if you'd like your story to be about a schoolgirl. 1, 2. Babasy, you have the deciding vote. Which one are you going to go for?
I was waiting for them to say Babasy, but I'll go for the black stallion.
Okay, so this is a story about a black stallion, like Black Beauty. That's what I think of when I think of that. Okay, so a lovely horse. The next thing we need to decide is, what does our black stallion want more than anything in the world? And I'm assuming the horse variety rather than the Babasy variety right here, But what would you like our horse to go on a journey for?
To avoid being gelded.
Avoid being gelded. Wow. Gelding. What did you say? Freedom.
Freedom.
Ah, freedom seems nice. Lovely. To avoid being gelded.
Not to be gelded.
Not to be gelded. Okay. Are we happy with freedom as an overall concept, whatever that might mean? Yeah. Okay. So we've got a black stallion that wants freedom, and then we have to decide who or what is going to try to stop our fabulous black stallion getting to his goal of freedom. Who's
A
going to be
unicorn.
a unicorn? I love that. Like a unicorn could just be evil. Are we happy with unicorn? Yeah.
Does that mean the unicorn is horny and jealous?
Let's
Hush.
tell it and find out. All right, here we go. Once upon a time in a field in deepest, darkest Lincolnshire, because those are the fields I can see right now, there was a black stallion. We need to give this black stallion a name. I can't keep calling him a black stallion all the way through. What was the name of this fine horse?
Aloysius.
Blockhead.
Aloysius. I'm going to go with Aloysius. I like Aloysius.
Okay.
All right. Get my mouth all done. So this black stallion, he was called Aloysius, and he lived in a field in Lincolnshire. But unlike most horses, he could not run throughout this field. His field was small. It was tiny. It was like had huge fences all around the side because Aloysius liked to escape. Aloysius had escaped so many times that his owner had built this fine fence around him so he could never escape again because Aloysius was a fine black stallion. Aloysius was worth lots and lots of money. But he was stuck inside this enclosed space. And the only thing he could see was the sky above him and the occasional birds and insects that came in to tell him what was going on in the world. But Aloysius was determined. He was determined to find his freedom. Now, if you were Aloysius and you were stuck in this high fenced small field and you only had the birds or the insects coming to visit you, what would be your first way to try to get your freedom? What should we try first? Is there someone we can ask?
I'd order a trampoline online.
So this is what Aloysius did. The next time the little blue tit came and flew in, he said, Blue tit, could you do me a favor? Could you go and find like my owner's phone? And all you need to do is tap in. And you will, what you need to tap in is the word trampoline. You get the keyboard up, and the blue tit said, it's fine. I've done it many times. I order birdseed all the time. So the blue tit said, of course, I will order you a trampoline and we'll see what we do. So the blue tit flew out and he found the owner's phone that the owner had left on the kitchen table and forgotten where it was. The owner was like me. And the blue tit flew in also like me. Birds just come and tap on my windows. Like the blue tit flew in and opened up the phone. And he tapped in trampoline into the phone. And when he saw a suitable trampoline, he clicked buy. Well, a couple of days went past, and Aloysius in his field heard a lorry pulling up. And he thought, this is it. This is my trampoline. And the lorry pulled up, and he could see it just about through the fence. And he could see the workmen getting the trampoline out. Unlike most trampolines, this was a fully built trampoline. The blue tit had ordered a really high-class one. And the men were getting the trampoline out of the back. And just as they were getting the trampoline out of the back of the lorry, well, who should come along but the unicorn? Now, Aloysius and the unicorn were rivals from long ago because everybody loved the unicorn, and then nobody liked Aloysius because he was, difficult and that's why they built a big fence around him. As soon as the unicorn saw the trampoline, he knew. The unicorn knew that Aloysius must have ordered it. The unicorn knew that Aloysius was like using his bird friends. So the unicorn did the meanest thing he could possibly do. He went, as the men, he played music like that. This is unicorn theme music. You have to do that every time I say unicorn now. As the men were pulling the trampoline out of the van, the unicorn went underneath, took his spike and pierced it. Pierced it through, so the trampoline was no good at all. Aloysius looking through the fence said, why did you do that, unicorn? The unicorn said, you may never escape. I am going to be the most lovable horse-like creature of all time, and you have to stay inside your fence. Well, poor Aloysius. He sat down in his field as much as a horse can sit. And he thought, there must be some way that I can foil this unicorn and make my escape. So what do we think, lovelies and gentle humans, that Aloysius tried next? What do we think?
A chainsaw to get through the fence.
All right. So he said, he called to the blue tit. He said, blue tit, the trampoline thing did not work. What I need you to do is go online, and I need you to order me a chainsaw. Blue tit said, no problem at all. And he flapped up and he found where the owner had forgotten their phone was on the kitchen table again. And he tapped in chainsaw and he ordered chainsaw. Well, A couple of days later, the van pulls up and the men were getting, you could hear the van, you could hear the weight of the chainsaw in their hands. Unfortunately, so for the unicorn. Thank you. And the unicorn said to the men, I think you'll find that chainsaw is for me. And since the men couldn't see anywhere else because Aloysius was behind his fence, they said, all right then. And they gave the chainsaw to the unicorn, and the unicorn took it in his mouth. And he went off and he chainsawed down entire forests, because that's how evil the unicorn was. He didn't care about nature. He didn't care about freedom. Well, Aloysius thought, oh no, I'm not sure this ordering things online is actually working for me. There must be another way that I can escape from this field. So, lovelies and gentle humans, let's see if we can help Aloysius out of his high fenced field. What could we try?
I think what needs to be done is the unicorn needs to go to the glue factory.
This is true. How can we possibly get the unicorn to the glue factory since Aloysius is inside his field? Evita, is that an idea?
Think about kicking the fence down with his hind legs.
That's true. Evita, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that the next thing that Aloysius does is order a book of Rumi quotes.
Okay.
And he does so, and with his hoof, he carefully goes through the pages until he finds one.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you for the quote. So, this is what Aloysius does. He's tried kicking that fence. He's tried digging underneath that fence. He knows this is not something he's going to be able to do on his own. So, you ready? I'm coming to you, Evita, for the Rumi quote. He gets the blue tit to order online. The blue tit says, look, maybe Aloysius, what you need is just some wisdom. So the blue tit orders a book of Rumi quotes, and the blue tit and all of his friends pick the book up when it comes so that the unicorn can't get it. And drops it in the field. And just as Evita said, Aloysius skims through until he finds the perfect quote, which is, Evita?
You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams, and you were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling. So Aloysius thinks about that. He's not crawling, is he?
He's not crawling.
You have wings. Learn to use them to fly.
So, of course, when Aloysius hears this quote, he thinks, I have wings. And he looks around. He's like, I haven't got wings. But my friends have wings. I have friends with wings. Well, of course. The Rumi quote reminds him of all the people that come to visit him, all the creatures that come to visit him, the dragonflies and the bees and even the wasps and all of the blue tits. And he says, my friend, I need your help. I need you to be my wings. And sure enough, all those creatures that visit him, the dragonflies and the butterflies and the blue tits and the great tits and the crows and even the eagles, they all come down, and there are so many of them. And each of them holds on to Aloysius. And then, as one, they begin to flap all their different kinds of wings. Flap with me, people. They flap and they flap and they flap and they flap. And sure enough, Aloysius goes up and up and up with the strength of all his friends' wings. And he flies right over the top of the fence. And he flies off into the distance, into the fields where he can be free. And apparently, the unicorn who was supposed to be stopping Aloysius get out was abandoned by the owner, and some say he ended up in a glue factory, which he deserved. But I couldn't possibly comment, because all I care about is Aloysius is free with the help of all his friends' wings, and so he and they live happily ever after. The end!
Yay! So does this mean Aloysius was in some strange way a Pegasus?
I think so. He was like a combined Pegasus.
Let's just say kind of, sort of, but not exactly.
I love to know
Maybe
what I
he drank. Oh, you know what? We should have had him drink Red Bull.
Oh gosh!
And then got the
Oh, no,
advertising
no.
contract.
Now, I think if he was a Pegasus, the fascists would be chasing him, thinking that Pegasus was an insult because they wouldn't understand what it meant.
So I've seen so
You
many dragonflies
Pegasus,
this summer.
you!
I've seen so many dragonflies this summer, like really massive ones wherever I've kind of been. So I just, in my head, that was mostly dragonflies. There is the odd blue tit. I've seen a lot of those, but mostly dragonflies. They've been so beautiful this summer. I love them. Thank you so much. I enjoyed that story very much. I might tell that again. You know, when you make up one of those, you go, I like that. I'll keep that.
That's what I used to do when I first started out as a storyteller. I would
Yeah.
go to the audience, divide the audience in my head into 3 parts, and
Yeah.
ask each part for one word.
Yeah.
And the loudest word I would incorporate in the story. It was fun. I might start doing that again.
There's an exercise that we do in improv, which they call Swedish storytelling. I don't know why. It's got nothing to do with Sweden, but basically, it's when you start telling a story. Like, so the audience gives you the title of the story, and you start telling it, and then this other person just says random words, like, and you have to incorporate it as you go, which is immense fun to do. It's just
Yes,
particularly when
yes.
they say something totally weird. I love it. I think I've done it on here once, but it's just gets completely random because you go.
It can be a game. I've done workshops, been to workshops and done workshops. The game is called Interrupter,
Mm-hmm.
and when you do it with very young
What?
kids, I tell you, it's so random.
Yeah.
And what you also show with that whole exercise is that how much we love stories.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
the interruption becomes harder and harder. The more interesting the story becomes, you want to listen what happens next. But then if someone throws in the word screwdriver, let's say, you know, there he is in his field, Aloysius, and someone goes screwdriver or ice cream, you go, God, you know, in your head that you have to incorporate it. But how the longer the story goes on, the less interruptions there are because people love.
Yeah. And they so want to know what's going on. It's like, it's really funny. I've done it live for kind of improv shows, and it's the only bit of storytelling people out there. And people are like, that's amazing. I'm kind of like, well, the storytelling bit's sort of my job. It's like, that's the easy bit for me. Like,
Screwdriver and ice cream. Screwdriver flavored ice cream? No.
I remember doing it, and I had hat, stand, carpet, and parrot in quick succession. I'm like, okay. So much fun. Right, let's head over to our first storyteller of stories that presumably were made up before. Let's go over to Keith. Are you ready, my dear?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Lovely. All
Yeah.
right, let me spotlight you, and then you can
Yeah,
unspotlight
I'll
yourself.
unspot myself.
There
Go
you
on.
go.
Here we go.
Off you go
Right.
then.
Well, we went to the Keswick Folk Week just before the end of the month, last month, and it was a great time, not just dancing and listening to music and watching all the club dancing and everything, but also some storytelling. And one of the stories that you all know, I'm sure, which I'm going to tell in a moment, I heard Simon Hayward tell. I thought, oh, I'll tell that again because yesterday afternoon I was at South Elkington WI Women's Institute, and I've got 3 more Women's Institutes to do in the next few weeks. So this I feel is very appropriate to WI meetings, and it's one I've told for quite a while, but it's good to tell it again, and I'm sure that we all enjoy listening to stories that we know well. So I'll see how we go. Well, Arthur and his knights were out hunting, and they galloped over the moors, down the valleys, and through the woods. And in the distance they saw a white stag, and they gave chase. But in the process of chasing the white stag, Arthur got separated from the rest of his men. He continued to chase after the white stag through the woods, and it came to a clearing, and suddenly the white stag was transformed into a very tall black knight that knocked Arthur off his horse. The Black Knight put his foot onto Arthur's chest and said, "Arthur, prepare to die." Well, Arthur, he looked up and said, "Well, you're a very brave knight, and I'm only in my hunting clothes. Perhaps we ought to have a fair fight, that you let me go back and to my castle and get my armor and my swords, and we can have a fair fight." But the Black Knight, he thought for a moment and said, "This is what I want you to do. only to return here in a year and a day with the answer to this question. What does a woman, or what does women most desire? What's their desire above anything else? And with that, the Black Knight, he took his foot off Arthur's chest. He put his sword into his sheath, and he went off into the forest. Well, Arthur, he got up and he dusted himself down and got on his horse, and he galloped back to his castle. And he told all the court and all the people there of his adventure. They had to go into the world. They had a year and a day to find out what is it that a woman most desires. And he was about to set off, and Sir Gawain said, "Sire, may I come with you?" And Arthur said, "Well, I'm very pleased of your company. Let's go." And so they travelled through the world, through all the villages and the towns, asking people whether they're old or young, rich or poor, what is it that a woman most desires? Well, some said this, and some said that, and some said something else, and they had a long list of answers. And it came to the point where it's nearly a year and a day was up, and they came riding along to a crossroads. And beside the road, this crossroads, was a pile of filthy rags. And out of the rags came the most ugly, a most horrible-looking woman, hag you'd ever seen. Her hair was black, and it hung down like snakes. She had a funny old face, like a turnip, and a long nose that reached down to her chin almost, through red dots on her eyes, and a gash of her mouth. And in it were not teeth, but yellow-brown tusks. And when she spoke, it was like drawing your nails over a blackboard. And smell, the horses shied away. And then she spoke up and said, "Well, hello, my friends, my brave knights. What are you up to?" Well, Arthur said, "Well, we're on a quest." "A quest, eh? Yes." "Yes, we're looking to asking everybody what is the thing that a woman most desires." "Oh, well, I've got the answer to that." "Oh," said Arthur, "you have the answer?" "Yes." "Well, tell us the answer. We'll give you silver, gold, diamonds, anything you want, if you'll tell us the answer to this question." "I don't want silver and gold and diamonds. I want to marry one of your knights." "Oh," Arthur said, "Well, I'm sorry, that's not possible. I just couldn't have any of my knights marry you. No. Oh, go on then, see it. Go on your way then, and see if get your head cut off. Go on then." But Sir Gawain, he spoke up and said, "Sire, I will marry the lady if she will tell us what the answer is to the question about what does a woman most desire." "Gawain," he said, "you can't do that. I mean, you can't." "I will do that, sire." Okay. And so it was agreed that Sir Gawain would marry this old, ugly hag. "Oh, goody, she said. And she told them the answer. Well, they searched on. They carried on to the clearing in the woodland, and there the Black Knight was sitting down with his axe, and he was sharpening his axe. He looked up and said, "Ah, sir, have you got the answer to the question I asked you about what does a woman most desire?" Arthur said, "Yes, well, we have a lot of answers," and he gave the Black Knight the long list that they'd got. And the knight looked at it and said, "It's not here, Arthur. Arthur, prepare to die." But then Sir Gawain spoke up and said, "Well, we do have one more answer. What a woman most desires is control over her own destiny. able to make her own decisions in her life. Oh, that's the right answer, said the Black Knight. And he got up and he carried his axe off into the woods and never seen again. Well, there are three of them, Arthur, Sir Gawain, and this ugly old hag. They went back to the castle. And they were amazed. They thought, oh, so pleased to see Arthur and Gawain back, but who was this ugly old hag? And then when the people heard that Sir Gawain was to marry her, they said, oh, no. But a promise is a promise. And so Sir Gawain and the ugly old hag were married. And it came to the wedding night, and in the bedroom, the old ugly hag, she crawled into bed and spoke up, Gawainie, come on, give me a kiss. Let's make it a proper marriage. And Gawain, he just sort of wandered around the bedroom. He looked out the window and thought, oh dear, what have I done? Oh dear. But in the end, he went over and he bent over and he kissed the ugly old hag. And she looked up and said in a gentle voice, now that wasn't so bad, was it? And he looked down and he saw the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen, with long golden hair and she said, but you have broken the spell that has held me for so long. In fact, you've only broken half the spell, because long ago I was under this spell where I was changed into that ugly hag. Now, answer me this question, because I can be as beautiful as I am now at night, but ugly in the daytime in the court, or I could be my beautiful self in the court and please all the court, but my ugly self at night. What do you choose? And so Gawain, he thought for a moment. He thought, lady, you choose. That's the right answer, she said. Now I can be my beautiful self all of the time.
Thank you, Keith. Oh, it's good to hear. What did you say, David? Lady Ragnar? Is that the name of her?
Sorry, I don't know. It's just the Lothy Lady. So Gawain the Lothy Lady.
There is a story about Lady Ragnar that's very, very similar. So I thought that's what you were telling.
Right.
And she marries Gawain, and he has to make the decision, and he tells her to choose, and she chooses, just like you said.
Yeah.
Oh. Evita, what were you going to say?
Yeah, and it's great for WIs. Yeah, it's great for WIs. And, sorry, go on, Eva.
Evita, go. Thank you.
English is my second language, and I was very fascinated when I was a very young lass. I went to the UK to learn English, and one of the first stories that I understood and heard was The Wife of Bath's Tale by Chaucer.
Wow.
And that's that's basically what you told, Keith. So that is one of the very famous Chaucer tales. I did, and I went, who is this man? This story pretty cool. For a very impressionable young 17-year-old in the 70s.
Wow.
It was cool.
Oh,
it's interesting when there's such similar structure, isn't there, to like so many different stories. That one's kind of really, really common. I always just want them to fall in love with the old hag. This transformation into beautiful stuff. Do you know what I mean? Fall in love with the witch. Have the brains about you.
Get married, their wives turn into old hags, but don't hurt the messenger.
Don't you stop.
I tell a story that has a song that goes with it, is King Henry, and it's very, very similar.
Yeah, it's really interesting. That kind of like there's a what's the African story? And is it Ntombindi that like that this like has it's the man that's like transforms from like as a snake in the day, like a man at night, which I always kind of love the idea of this kind of snake man, kind of drawn to. And Vero tells an amazing like snake woman story. These kind of like there are different things at different times. I love it. Hi Shane, welcome. Shane snuck in there. Baba C, you were next, weren't you, my dear?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going
Okay.
to pass over to you. Give it up for Baba C, everybody.
All right. So here's the shy guy. And remember, shy stands for storyteller supreme, historian, young at heart. I'm the shy guy. And by the way,
I tell tales.
all right, so this is a variation on a story that I love to tell, but I haven't told in a while. And so this story is about how the zebra got its stripes.
Oh,
And there are many
yeah.
variations on this story, but this has a slightly different spin. You see, long time ago, longer than all the gray hairs on Baba C's, Keith, David, and John Rhodes' beard, the story is older than that. So, a long time ago, the fastest animal in the jungle, in the forest, was the zebra. But back then, the zebra was jet black, even though jets hadn't been invented yet. But anyhow, the zebra was jet black. And the zebra was fast. He was faster than the wind. In fact, sometimes the wind got jealous. But his best friend in the whole wide world was the tortoise. And the tortoise was very slow. Now, this tortoise was gigantic. I mean, he was huge. And he and the zebra, oh, they spent days together. They talked about stuff. They found food together. And as you can imagine, it took a little while because the tortoise was very, very slow. Now, back in the day, since the zebra was the fastest animal in the world, the cheetah, which I don't know why they called it cheetah since he didn't cheat, but the cheetah was the second fastest animal in the world. And this bothered him. And it bothered him, and it bothered him. But what bothered him even more was that the fastest animal in the world was not friends with him. He was friends with the slow tortoise. For you see, the cheetah was convinced that if the tortoise was slow in body, he was slow in mind as well. And he used to berate the zebra day in and day out. Why you want to hang out with him? He's slow. He can't think. He's slow. You should hang out with me. We can be the fastest animals in the jungle. We can take this place by storm. But the zebra said, he's my best friend. I really like him. And just because he's slow in body doesn't mean he's slow in mind. He is so wise. You should sit down and talk to him sometime. What? Talk to the slowest animal in the world? No, never. So this would go on, and this would go on. And there was a monkey nearby. Isn't there always? There's a monkey nearby, and the monkey said, I have an idea. So the monkey got to talking to Cheetah, but he would stay up in the tree. By the way, cheetahs can climb trees. And the monkey got to talking and said, you know what? I admire you for your strength, your fleet of foot. I would like to play a game with you. And the cheetah thought, play a game with a monkey? Let me see where this goes. So the monkey said, let's play the binding game. And the cheetah said, yes, the binding game. The binding. Wait, what's the binding game? And the monkey said, well, see, I'm going to tie you up by the foot. I'm going to pull you up on the vines and swing you back and forth and back. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the cheetah thought, that does sound like fun. But I tell you what, you tie me up first. Because, see, the cheetah was thinking, when I tie him up, I will have lunch. And so the monkey tied him up by the foot, pulled him up with the vines, and swung him back and forth and back. Now, see, what the cheetah didn't know is that the monkey heard the cheetah deriding the tortoise and trying to get the zebra to abandon his best friend. So after a while, back and forth, the cheetah said, this is fun, wee. But now untie me, it's your turn to be tied up. And the monkey said, nope. 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 Not going to do it. And the monkey went elsewhere to have another adventure. Well, the cheetah was furious. He was growling and hollering and making all kinds of noise. And so other animals would come by and go, whoa, what happened to you? The monkey happened to me. Untie me. Nah, you look hungry. And if I untie you, you're going to eat me. And they would leave. The giraffe said the same thing. The other animals said the same thing, and they would not untie him. Several days went by, and the cheetah was getting weak because he hadn't eaten. And and the zebra took pity on him. And he told his best friend, I'm going to untie the cheetah. And the tortoise, being the wise tortoise that he was, said, I wouldn't do that. I think that might be a bad idea. He looks hungry enough to eat you despite his protestations. Zebra said, well, I can't leave him up like that. I mean, look at him. He looks so pathetic. He's getting weak. And so the zebra ran to where the second fastest animal in the world was tied up. He says, now I'm going to untie you, but you have to promise that you will not try to eat me. I promise. I will not try to eat you, but I'm so weak, I couldn't chase after you even if I wanted to. And so the zebra lowered the cheetah to the ground and untied him by the foot, and said, you're free. And the cheetah leaped toward him, looking like he was about to have lunch and dinner. And the zebra backed up and said, what are you doing? What are you doing? You promised that you wouldn't try to eat me. I'm not going to try to eat you. I'm going to eat you. And they took off. Now, just before the zebra took off, the cheetah grabbed hold of him on the sides and was hanging on tight. And the zebra was running and bucking and doing all those things that zebras do. And every time the cheetah would lose his purchase, he would grab onto him again, and he was cutting off the black skin. He was cutting, and he scarred the beautiful black coat of the zebra, and he cut it. And finally he lost his hold and fell, and the zebra took off. Well, everywhere that the cheetah had cut away at his black fur, when the scars grew in, they were white. And the zebra had lost some of his speed. He was no longer the fastest animal in the jungle. It was the cheetah. And the cheetah used to come after him to remind him of what he had done, which is strange because it was the cheetah that did the zebra wrong. But even though the cheetah was now the fastest animal in the jungle, the zebra still had his cunning and his guile, and for the most part was able to avoid the cheetah. And to this day, he and the tortoise are still the best of friends. And this only goes to show you that speed isn't everything. It is not the strength of the body that really counts, but the strength of the mind, as the tortoise still teaches today. Asante Sana. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was lovely. I love that. That reminds me of because you and I, Babsy, we tell that same version of Anansi's getting the stories when he's pulling the thing out of the pit. And
Yes, and in my story, he has to do 3 feats, which includes trapping Moana, not Moana. See, they got me. I got Moana on the brain. Moxie, the fairy that no man can see. So he makes a gum baby and puts a bowl of yams in the gum baby.
That's what we're talking about. So it is. I think it's the same tusk. So it's I always get the kids to remember it. So it's the python who's so long he can eat a whole goat. The leopard whose teeth are as sharp as spears. The hornets who sting like fire. And in my version, we just call it the invisible pink fairy, which they love because they was like, that doesn't seem part of the story. I'm like, yes, it is.
All right. Yeah. Well, I tell about I incorporate. Sometimes I don't put in the python, but I do incorporate it depending on the age group. But yes.
It just
how
reminded me
he-
of that thing
how
of
he-
tying up the feet and pulling it up. I was like, oh, I've
Yes,
done
yes,
that
yes.
image in my head is like really strong. Thank you. That was lovely.
The pleasure
Okay,
was
I've
mine.
got various people. Shall we go with? So what I'm going to do is David said he was going to share a poem. So if I go for David and then John and then Evita, is that okay with you guys? Yeah, lovely. And then Shane, I'll stick you on the end if you're up for telling. All right, let's go over to David. Let me spotlight you.
Yeah.
There you
Hello,
go.
everybody. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, David.
Well, I'm going to share a poem. And this poem is very dear to my heart because it reminds me when I was in the second level of school, what we call second grade. And we would all tell this, we would get up as a group and recite this poem. It's not very long, but it's talked like this. It's called Little Orphan Annie by James Whitcomb Riley. And I'm going to read it to you because my memory ain't all that good. Here we go. Little orphan Annie's come to our house to stay and wash the crumbs and cups and saucers up and brush the crumbs away and shoo the chickens off the porch and dust the hearth and sweep and make the fire and bake the bread and earn her board and keep. All us other children, when the supper things is done, we set around the kitchen fire and has the mostest fun. We set it and listen to the witch tales that Annie tells about, and the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. Once there was a little boy who wouldn't say his prayers. So when he went to bed at night away upstairs, his mammy heard him holler and his daddy heard him bawl. And when they turned the kivers down, he wasn't there at all. And they seeked him in the rafter room and cubby hole press, and seeked him up the chimbley flue, and everywhere, I guess. But what all they ever found was this, his pants and roundabout, and the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And once time a little girl, all us laugh and grin and make fun of everyone and all her blood and kin. And once when there was company and old folks was there, she mocked them and shocked them, and she didn't even care. And this is as she kicked her heels and turned it to a run and hide. There was two great big black things a standing by her side, and they snatched her through the ceiling for she knew what it was about. And the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And little orphan Annie says, when the blaze is blue and the lamp wick splutters and the wind goes woo-hoo and the lightning bugs all do is all squinched away and you hear the crickets quit and the moon is all gray. You better mind your parents and your teachers fond and dear and cherish them and love them and dry the orphans' tear and help the poor and needy ones at clusters all about ere the goblins will get you if you don't watch out.
Yay. That was great. Thank you. Oh, I love all right. Very gruesome. Love
Especially
it.
at this time of year.
Yeah.
Because it's getting close to Samhain, you know.
It is getting close to Samhain, and I get very excited. It's September. We can say it's close to Samhain.
Yeah, it works for me.
Or to be honest, sometimes it's November. It's nearly Samhain the other way around.
Yeah.
All right. John, I'm coming to you next. Give it up for Mr. John Rowe, everybody.
Right now I'm going to do, I'm going to read a couple of pages from Hala's book.
Yay.
And then I'm going to do one short poem that I wrote 2 days ago.
Oh, new stuff. Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
quick
well, you've
hello
got
before
new
you
news.
start to everybody watching. There's a few people watching on Facebook. Eham's there, Jazz is there, something else there. So hello, Facebook people. You're very welcome. And now back over to you, John.
Right, this is Hala the Gaza Girl. If you want a copy of this book, most of you've got copies already, but you can if you go to Google and look up Gaza Girl and then put in after it Navigator Press, that'll give you the link. My given name means the aura of light surrounding the moon. Perhaps it is my destiny that the moon will be my most faithful companion. I hope to reflect her light on my homeland, then on the world. I often hesitate to write a book. I fear starting something I might not be able to complete, My life is in constant danger. At every moment, something shocking always happens. A voice pierces my ears, dusts and screams, ending with a child or a girl my age being orphaned, a mother losing her children or her husband. The martyr is carried in his shroud and escorted to a funeral, but today funerals are not held. Burial is in a mass grave. If your body is found intact, they might only find a hand or a leg, or your family might identify you and you might be buried with other remains. I apologize, dear reader, but this is a small part of my life. Everything changes in life, and this scares me. I'm a young girl. I make mistakes and learn from them. I grow, then the next shock arrives. I want my future home to be filled with books and flowers, plants, lights and candles and artwork. A room full of candles means so much to me at this time in my life. How many times has life completely closed its doors, leaving me in darkness, yet friends lit candles for me, for my survival. After 575 days of insecurity pervading my beautiful city by the sea, their candles kept me alive. For some, a candle is a symbol of sacrifice made for others, and I hope to be lit by a candle in someone's life one day. To create a corner for myself to escape reality when things get rough and enjoy peaceful days and nights. To have a place I can call home, a beautiful home. And one day to look up at the night sky with happy eyes, to see the stars shining brighter forever, and to no longer see the planes in the sky that frighten me so I can differentiate between them, to feel the warmth on cold days, covered in my blanket, and listen to the sound of rain as I sit on my bed with a cup of coffee in a beautiful cup given to me by my friend who has gone to a better place. My beautiful friend. May she rest in peace. Pray for her. To graduate from high school in circumstances I'm surviving. There are no schools for us to study, not like the other students of the world. Rather, we flee to schools for fear of death, carrying our souls in our palms. And so it goes on.
Thank
And
I've just put the link to the book in the chat if anyone wants it, and it's also on the Facebook chat as well. If anyone needs
okay, so let's hold on. Right, this should.
The poem was like the ocean, deep.
So there's this whole thing about flags going on. Yeah, both sides of the Atlantic. So, there's this whole movement here, Raise the Colors, which is run by, ironically, by three people, and one that was who's on this anti-migrant thing, and he's actually been to prison for 4 years for smuggling, trying to smuggle 4 Vietnamese in the back of his van under a tarpaulin. So no hypocrisy there. So this is called Colors. I'll nail my colors to the mast of any vessel with a cargo of love, justice, and equality bound for utopia. I'll join the crew as deckhand, captain, boatswain, stoker, or midshipman, put my back into hoisting sails, stoking the boiler, or any of the 1,001 tasks it takes to keep the ship afloat and on course. And while I know there'll be many storms to weather and pirates to repel, with only the stars to guide us and faith that a better world is possible, I am confident our journey will not be in vain.
Thank you. Much needed. John Rowe, everybody, give it up.
Yeah, John Rowe. Since you mentioned flag burning, the person in the White House wrote an executive order banning flag burning and made it an automatic year of imprisonment. The Supreme Court already ruled that flag burning, no matter how despicable people may think it is protected by the Constitution, and that his executive order has no weight and is unconstitutional. I'm just throwing it up because you mentioned flags.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense flags going on around here at the moment. It's immense fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. All right, we are going to head over to Evita. Evita, are you ready, my dear?
I don't know what I should be ready with, but I might actually thank you, John, for bringing up the very important subject that I think affects all our lives, whether we like it or not. So Babasi asked me for a poem, and I wrote to him. I said, my poems aren't pretty. He knows. But I think John's heard this before. And if there's time, I can do something more uplifting later, but that's not. I might have to cheat a little because I haven't done this for a little while. But anyway, I might even take this little thing. Her eyes search for the face of her mother one last time. Ya Allah are the last words she hears before she's carried away in the arms of oblivion. Her father's pale heart weakly pumps bloody tears through the cracks of the ruins. The last shreds of sanity flap in the winds of despair. Where? Why? How? What and why? Question marks are fading, fading, fading. Where is humanity? Have Western hearts been amputated? How can minds go so blank that they believe in lies from screens and paper words? Why are you so willing? Who counts the money thrown at distant butchers? And who holds the trump card that shuffles human souls and lives? What are you doing with your backs turned and hunched? Are you burying guilt? And when will you hashtag misery of endless, 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 endless genocide? Their eyes seek yours, asking, what have I done? When will this end? How will this end? Why are you so silent? And with their last breath, you can hear their voices echo, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Australia, America, Canada, Europe, you have lost your souls. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. You know your mama was born to die. All my trials, Allah, soon be over. The river Jordan is muddy and cold. It chills the body, but not the soul. Oh, my trials, Allah, soon be over. I've got a little book with pages 3, and every page spells liberty. Oh, my trials, Allah, soon be over. Too late, my brother, too late, but never mind. Oh, my trials, Allah, soon be over. If living were a thing that money could buy, the rich would live and the poor would die. Oh, my trials, Allah, soon be over. There is a tree in paradise. The pilgrims say it's the tree of life. Oh, my trials, Allah, soon be over. Too late, my brother, too late, but never mind. Oh, my trials, Allah, soon.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Whoa.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Ah, breathe now.
Whew.
Ah.
Like the ocean, these sessions can run deep. Thank you, Evita.
Yeah, that was something else. And I learned that that version of that song when I was a kid. So I was just kind of singing it along with you, and it's just thank you for the opportunity to hear that.
It's a Joan Baez. Well, it's not. It's actually a gospel song.
Yeah, that's
Joan
what I
Baez
noticed.
made it quite famous, and it just came to me because I do protest as an angel and holding this doll, silent protests. Can you believe it? Me silent. But then that song just, when I see these mothers, I just think, oh my goodness, this song is so current. So
Those opening two lines of it, I can very rarely hear it without crying just instantly, and it's so just grounds whatever you're kind of saying, doesn't it?
But thank you for letting me share this. Thank you.
Oh, I really appreciate you doing that. Right. So Shane, you are the last person on my list. Are you happy to take it from there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Something a little bit different, I guess.
That's good.
And just
all things are welcome here.
Yeah. Just let me. I've got a big picture of me in front of me. I don't want that. I'll just let me.
I
put it on
spotlight
gallery.
it for the thing, but you
Yeah.
can like
No, I don't.
unspotlight yourself.
I don't. I know. I hate it. So this is quite a new story for me. I've only told it a couple of times, but I heard it very recently. So I thought I'd share it. And Baba C's story sort of. I thought, well, I have to tell this story because you see, Baba C only told part of the story. You see, because he talked about how smart Tortoise is, but he wasn't always so smart, and sometimes we have to learn very hard lessons in life, and this is a difficult lesson that he once learned before he became so smart. And I mean, Baba C didn't really describe Tortoise, but back in the day before he became so smart, his shell is nothing like it is today. His shell was as smooth as a helmet. I mean, it was that smooth. It was just so utterly smooth and beautiful. And here's the thing, you know, people quite like Tortoise, but they never really invited him to a party because he had the habit of eating everything. Now, we only think of Tortoise as eating lettuce leaves, but, you know, back in the day, Babassi just didn't tell you this stuff. I'm not sure why he didn't. He's protecting Tortoise for some reason, but, you know, he was such a greedy creature and no one would invite him to a party. Well, the birds wanted to have a party and they thought, well, if we do it down here on Earth, Tortoise will hear about it, he'll see it, and he'll just come and eat everything. So we must do something about it. And they decided to have a party up on one of the clouds. I thought, he'll never get up there because he can't fly. He's not a bird. Well, word got around all the birds and they were twittering away. And of course, if you twitter away all day, someone will overhear what you're talking about, and someone overheard. And it got back to Tortoise, of course. And he went round to each bird and said, I'd like to come to that party, but I can't fly. Could I borrow one of your feathers, please? And sort of the first bird looked at him and said, no, if you come, you'll eat everything. I promise I won't, said Tortoise. I promise I won't. I've learnt my lesson. I promise I won't. Just give me one feather. That's all I ask. Well, the bird couldn't help himself and he gave a feather. And then Tortoise went to the next bird and it was the same story. And Tortoise said, I promise I won't be greedy. And could I just have one feather? It's all I want, one feather. So he got another feather and another feather. And before you knew it, he had enough feathers. And he got himself some glue. And he stuck all these feathers all over his shell and his arms and his legs and what have we, so that he could fly. And he took off. And by heavens above, you never believe this, but he actually managed to get flight. And he soared up and up and up and up. And he got onto that cloud where the party was. Well, all the birds were sitting there waiting for their food. And they don't eat trill and corn. And I mean, when they have a banquet, they eat the finest food that you could imagine. And there they all were waiting for the food to come. And then in walks Tortoise. And they kind of looked at each other and they, what are you doing here, Tortoise? And he said, I just thought I'd come and share the party. He said, but I promise I won't eat very much. Okay, they said. Well, anyway, they did their introductions. You know, what's your name? Oh, my name's Blue Tip. My name's Robin. My name's Wren. My name's Blackbird. My name's Eagle, and so on and so on. It got round to Tortoise. And they said, what's your name, Tortoise? And he said, my name is For Everyone. They said, oh, that's an unusual name. For Everyone. Oh, that's an unusual name. Okay. Well, anyway, the door went and in came all the servants with all the food. And as they came in, they said, this is for everyone. And that's me, said Tortoise. I'm for everyone. And all the food was put in front of Tortoise. And the birds looked at each other and they couldn't believe they'd been fooled yet again. And of course, he ate all the food. He threw the odd bone and the odd bit of fat and the odd bit of gristle for the birds, and they had the pickings, you know, of not very much at all. And well, he ate and ate and ate. The birds were furious, and they thought, how can we get revenge with this bird? Well, they thought about it and they thought about it and they couldn't come up with an answer. Well, Tortoise got so kind of, well, the only word to use really is, we have to be careful what words we use these days, but he just became fat. And wherever he wandered up there in the clouds, he was knocking in, and the feathers, they weren't glued on very well, and he began to knock all his feathers off until he had no feathers left. And then he realised he needed to get back to Earth, and he wouldn't be able to glide down like a bird. And he said, I don't know what to do. And one of the birds said, you could jump off a cloud. And he said, oh, but if I hit the ground, he said, I need something soft to land on. Could one of you birds go down and tell my wife to put some really soft things out for me to land on? Oh, yes, said one of the birds. I'll leave you to work out which bird would have said and done this. I'm not sure which one would have done it, actually. But anyway, one of the birds said, oh, yes. And down he went, down and down and down and down and down. And he went to where Mrs. Tortoise lives. Knocked on the door, knock, knock, knock. Mrs. Tortoise, your husband, he's up on that cloud up there. Well, what's he doing up there? She said. He invited himself to the banquet and he's eaten all our food and he hasn't got his feathers anymore to fly down. And he said, could you put some bits and pieces out for him to land on? And she said, oh, of course I can. What does he want me to put out? And they said, well, an ironing board, an iron, the metal plough, a metal ladder, anything metal that you can think of. Just put it. She said, "Are you sure that's what he wants?" Yes, yes, said the bird. That's exactly what he said. Yes, that's exactly what he said he wanted. Okay, she said, and she got all those bits of jagged, hard metal out and put it all there, and the bird flew back up to the cloud. I'm not sure which bird would have this in him to do this, actually, but anyway. He said to Tortoise, Tortoise, it's all ready for you. You have a look, and it's down there. And Tortoise sort of had a look. Well, it's such a long way, he couldn't see, he couldn't see, but he could see that, X marked the spot. And he said, well, okay. And off he dived off the cloud, down and down and down. And when he hit that metal stuff, well, it was like, well, it completely shattered his beautiful shell. And there were bits of it everywhere. Well, his wife got the Gorilla Glue out. She gathered up all the bits and pieces and she put them all around Tortoise on his back. And that is why Tortoise's shell is all in bits and pieces. And there's another thing, you see, if you come across a tortoise and you bend down near it, his head will duck in as quick as you can. And that's because he is still embarrassed with how much he ate on that banquet. And that's the true story of Tortoise.
Thank you, Shane. I do love that. That reminds me, Sue told that at Harlequin that we were.
It was at Sue Squire told it.
Yeah, I love. It was one of the first stories I ever heard her tell, and I do love it so much.
I love it, and I looked it up, and I found it as a Nigerian. My partner, there's someone around our locality sells books every now and again, and they sold a book of African tales, folk tales. Yeah. And she got it for free. She brought it back. And what's in there? The story of Tortoise. So I thought, well, I have to start telling Tortoise now because the synchronicity of Sue and that.
Exactly. It was cool.
I've started telling it. So.
And Shane, I actually tell several variations on that, on how the tortoise got a shattered shell. I mean, a cracked shell. But I know the one you're speaking of because I do like it. But you could tell tortoise tales all day long, like I tell Anansi tales.
Yeah, definitely. There's enough of them. All righty. I think
Mockingbird. Oh, I see you put Mockingbird, BB. Yeah,
yeah,
it could
because
be Mockingbird, couldn't it?
Because he was mocking.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There you go. So we've probably only had one song so far, so I feel like I should bring you a tune so that I'm honouring the tales and tunes. Just me and Avita doing that bit. So I'm going to sing you one of mine because my songs are easier to sing with others, but I have to do this whole thing of taking this off. Hold on a second. I've got to turn this bit off. Right. Turn up the volume. No, I just have to check. Can you hear me? Hang on.
Can we hear you? Yes.
Good. I can hear you now, so that's good. Then I have to do the musicians on thing. Okay, so the second important question is, can you hear the guitar?
Yes.
Okay. And then the third important question is, do you want a kind of reasonably happy story song or do you want a kind of sad story song?
Happy.
Happy. Let's go out on a happy note.
Okay, so this is it's not like hugely happy because none of the songs I write are, but it's happier than some of them. It's got a nice sing-along chorus. So I've been recently going back through like songs that I wrote, oh my god, like 15, 20 years ago now. I think this was one of the first songs I wrote when I learned to play the guitar, so it's probably about 15 years old. But like suitably enough for storytellers, this is called Cinderella Girl. So I thought you might like it. It's also got 4 verses because I couldn't fit in everything I wanted to in the standard 3 verses, so you just have to put up with another one. She puts the baby to bed, the soft hair on his head. She checks to see it is okay, and then she gets on her way into another world. Now she's a different girl, just getting through another day. Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you know what's going by you? Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you care what's going by you? He sees her walk through the floor, watches her crossing the floor. He's mesmerized by her face as she takes up her place. Hang on a second. You know when you forget the words to your own song because you're kind of like that old now? I'm going to start that verse again. That makes more sense now. He sees her walk through the door, watches her crossing the floor. He's mesmerized by her face as she takes up her place. He'd like to say hello, doesn't know how it might go, wonders who she rushes home to. Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you know what's going by you? Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you see what's going by you? She finishes up late, he wonders if he should wait. Does he know that she's there as she pulls back her hair? But she puts her coat on, slips outside, glances back but no goodbye, leaves no glass slipper to be his guide. Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you see what's going by you? Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you know what's going by you? Home again, safe inside, she waits to sitter goodbye. Thinks of his friendly smile, the first she's seen in a while. But she'll dismiss the thought as she creeps upstairs, checks peaceful sleep for golden hair. There's only one prince in her heart. Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you know what's going by you? Cinderella girl, trying to find your way in all this messed up world. Cinderella girl, do you care what's going by you? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ah, it was good once I remembered it.
It's all right. Sometimes you forget a word or two. Storytellers, we do it all the time. And
Yeah,
then we
see,
move on.
I always think, like, because when I'm storytelling, I can kind of go anywhere with it. But with music, I feel like I should remember it. And then I remember, it's a song that I wrote. No one else knows the words.
See, by the way, that's part of the reason scatting was invented. Because and I forget which historical figure is given given the acclaim for this, but in the middle of a song, he forgot the words. So he started scatting. For those who don't know, scatting is when you're doing vocalizations without words in a song, and then now it's very popular.
Yeah, I've been known to do that once or twice in jazz. And also just sing the same verse over and over again. If they were good words, why not repeat them? All right, we have time to go around again, I think. So
hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
What?
Wally's has to go home at some point.
I know, but he knows we're here until 9. Are we allowed to?
Oh, we do it to 9.
We do it till 9.
Well, can I announce that on Fridays, because I must go.
So you have to go, is what you're saying. The rest of us can stay here and party.
Well, no, I
But we should be cognizant of the fact that Wally does have other responsibilities.
That is very true. It's up to
And
you
he's-
guys. I'm happy to go around again. I'm happy to be here till 9.
He's
But
doing us on Wednesdays. He's doing us on Fridays. He does us on Sundays when we do it. You know, I think he might like to go home early one night.
I'm
But
good.
I'm
either
having
way.
fun. Having said that,
I'm also aware that some people join later because we say that it's 7 till 9, so I don't kind of want to not be here late.
of course, we advertise it as 7 to 9.
We do advertise it as
Yeah.
7 till 9.
Right. Okay. I thought it was just. I was thinking
It's all
it was
right, Minnie. You haven't
normal
been here
world
for a while, so
storytelling
you've forgotten
stuff.
the things.
Yeah,
It's all
well, we
good.
normally sort of have hour and a half as maximum. But
John, I think
we
the bloke
advertise this
behind
as
you, I think the
7 to
bloke
9.
behind you wants to tell a story. Just if you look over your left shoulder, he's just behind you. I think he wants a story. He's smiling like he wants to tell a story.
Oh,
John?
oh God, yeah, no, that's something that was a present from my boy.
It's lovely.
Nice.
it's a
lovely.
good one too.
It is a good one.
Right.
All right, my
Yeah.
dear. Do you want to remind people, and I will remind people at the end as well
Yeah,
about
it's
Friday?
Rona Barber on Friday for stories, children for stories.
Rona
No,
Barber on Friday.
children for stories for children. uh,
Lovely.
Yes, past somebody's bedtime.
right.
Definitely.
Well, and thank you, Justine, for running this.
You're very welcome. We will see you again. I'm going to stay till 9. I don't know what everyone else wants
No,
to
no,
do.
I think we should, as it's advertised to 9.
It is.
My mistake, for which I
You're-
apologise.
You're in. There's just a lot of forgetting going on tonight. I'm forgetting
That's
my
all
own,
right.
Well, I remember to be here.
which is a start.
But we'll forget that we forgot, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It never happened. Does that mean I can ask Keith for another story then?
Yeah, of course you can.
Keith, do you have another story?
Yes, I can do something.
Look, and you've got a change of background. I love your backgrounds, Keith. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to spotlight you, and then you unspotlight yourself.
Yeah, I'll have to just unspot my. Where's my
There you
view?
go. While you do that, I can put
Yeah,
my
I like
headphones
to.
back
I
on.
like to
So
see
I'm not
the listeners. Right.
disturbing the
Okay.
children.
So, this is a story that I was asked to tell yesterday at South Elkington, WI. It's a story I hadn't actually told for quite a long time. So it is good to revise an old story, which again is one of those stories I'm sure that you all know. Well, once there was a king, and he had a great army, lived in a big city. He'd been out for battle and he'd come back. He was absolutely victorious. His army had won the battle. And he thought, well, it'd be good if I could ride through the city to all the cheers of the people and to ride under a triumphal arch. But his city didn't have a triumphal arch. And so he had one built. And the great day came when it was completed. And he got on his black stallion, his ermine cloak, and silver bridle on the horse, the golden crown on his head, and he was riding through the city, and all the cheers of the people. Everybody was very happy. Everybody was cheering away at the king, and his army had had this victorious time when they'd won this battle. But when he got to the triumphal arch, it was just slightly too low. And the king hit his head on the arch and knocked off his crown, and he fell off the horse. Well, the king was furious. That arch was built too low. And he called together a court and said that whoever's responsible for this will have their heads cut off. And so the architects were called to the court. And the architect said, well, Your Majesty, we followed all the instructions that were given by everybody. We filled all. We've got a string of letters after our names. We just our documents are completely accurate. It must be the fault of the masons that built the arch. And so the masons were brought to the court. Your Majesty, it wasn't our fault. We needed so much stone. We followed the instructions from the architect, all the instructions there. It can't be our fault. It must be the fault of the carpenters that built the scaffolding. And so the carpenters were brought. Your Majesty, it's not our fault. We only had so much wood. And we followed all the instructions. It must be the fault of the horse. It's just too big. Well, the horse was brought to the court. And the horse said, it's not my fault. I'm only a horse. But I know what is wrong here. I know the culprit. It's simply this, that the king's head is too big. And so the king had to have his head cut off.
Fabulous.
Oh, I didn't mute myself, but that was funny. I like that, Keith. That's probably one of my favorite stories by you. All right.
Love that. That's so much fun.
I can't believe John missed out on an off with the head story. I can't.
Yeah.
You know how much he loves.
He so loves his decapitation. It's not a story without decapitation.
I
Like,
know.
ah.
Oh, well, there
He's
we
going to have to
go.
watch it back on repeat, isn't he? Lovely stuff. Okay, let's go. So Baba C was next. Baba C, do you have another tale for us?
Yeah, I have. Yes, if I can remember the rhythm. When they passed out rhythm, they passed over this brother, but we're going to try. This is a variation of Goldilocks, and it's kind of a chant. I got my fingers crossed that I remember it.
Everything crossed for you.
Once upon a time, in a tiny little forest, there were 3 bears. Chop, chop, chop. One was the papa bear, one was the mama bear, one was the wee bear. Chop, chop. One day they went a walking with a cool breeze, talking when along came a girl with long hair. Her name was Curly Locks, and on the door she knocked, but no one was there. No one was there, so she walked right in, and she had herself a bowl, because she didn't care. Nah, she didn't care. So home came the 3 bears. Someone's been eating my porridge, said the papa bear. Someone's been eating my porridge, said the mama bear. Well, hey, mama, see here. Hey, mama, see here. Someone is sleeping in my bed. Boom. So Curly Lock, she woke up, she broke up the party, and she beat it out of there. She beat it out of there. Bye-bye, said the papa bear. Bye, said the mama bear. Chow, said the wee bear. Chop, chop. And that is the story of the 3 little bears. Ba 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 ba. Bye bye.
Yay! Demonstrate a bit of scatting there at the end. I love it.
That's very inspirational. That's so cool to hear it done like that. It's brilliant.
I love that. Have you heard Baden's dreadlocks and the 3 bears?
I think so.
Yeah, not clean enough for online, but
Well, in that case, I might not have, unless we were with Shane and some of the other of his contingency sharing adult beverages and telling tales.
yes. I always tell it. He's doing my he's doing a live night for me, Lady J's Marvels, at the end of September. I might try and convince him to like drag it out because it's so much
Please
fun.
ask him to send it to me, because I would love to
I
hear it.
will, yeah. There's a CD of it as well, like outside. So there is actually a recording of it.
Okay, I'm too young to know. What's a CD? Hey, I'm a storyteller.
It's like a mini disc, you know. You remember cassettes?
I actually remember the original floppy disk. People think of that little hard plastic thing.
Yeah, and they were floppy. They were floppy, weren't they?
Yes, they were. And
I
it took a
was
lot of those to load up a program.
Oh my goodness. I was trying to explain that to my son the other day. Do you have any idea how mad I sounded? I was like,
Yes.
there was a disk and it was floppy and you put it in a computer and then very little happened.
And that was back during the day when megabytes was a big thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're showing our age, Babasi. Let's stop it.
All right.
So if we go around again, I think next, Evita, do you have anything else you can share? We'd love to hear more from you.
Yes, a pity John's gone, but he might have already heard this story. This one's for you, Shane. So this is a traveler story because my grandmother was a traveler, and it actually came to me many years ago because I've been working as a volunteer for refugees for many, many years. And Australia, let's not go there. With refugees, as you know, the UK is trying to adopt Australia's policies and things like that. And when things get heavy, I do a poem or sometimes just a story. So this is also to honor my ancestors. Jelem, jelem, lugone dromensa, maladilen, bactale romensa, aya romale. Aya Chavale. Malek Romano and his kin traveled the world in their bardos. A bardo is a wagon with their horses and all the crafts that they were so very good at. They were renowned for being able to speak to animals, to be kind, and to be very crafty. One day word came to the camp that there was a land, a city so great that everybody from all over the world wanted to move there. So young Malik decided he was going to up and go there. Of course, his mama cried. His papa was quietly proud but worried. Are you sure, son? He says, yes, I will go and see the world on my own, but you've never been without your clan. I'll be just fine. So off he went with just some of their baskets. And he walked for a month and a week and a day. And there in the distance he saw it. The gate to that great city. He also saw it was heavily guarded. And he saw there was a long, long line of people trying to get in. So Malik hid behind a bush and just observed. He saw that some people were let in and some people came and were sent away, and a lot of them just not very kindly either. But being a proud Romany boy, he tried his luck. But as soon as he got near the gate, the head guard stomped his foot, pointed his spear and says, get out of here. We've heard of your kind. You're not welcome here. Get away. Malik retreated behind the bush and watched. Just then, a colourful parrot alighted on a bush just near him. Bird and boy looked at each other. Then they looked back and watched the crowd. They saw a man on a beautiful horse arrive at the gate. The guards, what have you got to bring to our great city? The guard asked. The man slid off the saddle elegantly. He snapped his fingers and he said, Los traigo la balla, y la danza, y la música. The guard frowned. Say what? Speak our language. What are you bringing to this city? The parrot sat on top of the gate and screeched. He says he brings you music and dance. Oh, said the guard, music and dance, our lot like to party. We're very well known for that. Come on through, sir, come on through. But Malik saw that that horse and man were let through the gate. More people came and went, and then he saw a lady in a cone-shaped hat. She was followed by a string of children in cone-shaped hats, all carrying sacks of various sizes. She bowed. Ni hao. What can you thấy lại Tani? God looked at her. Woman, what are you saying? Ni hao. What can you thấy lại Tani? The parrot flapped over and sat on the top of a spear and said, this one says hello, and they're bringing rice. Oh, we've had a big drought, said the guards to each other. Rice is good. Let her through, let her through. The woman went through. Malik tried again. He ran and he offered one of his baskets, beautifully woven by his grandmother and his aunties. The guard saw him and said, no way, rag boy. Get out of here, Jippo. We know you're kind. You are never going to be welcome here. Malik retreated again. And so it went. All day long, the sun began to sink. And as you know in stories, there's a beautiful glow when that happens. And Malik saw a beautiful, beautiful man. Then the guard came out and says, only two more today. And the rest of yous, go back to where you came from. Malik snuck closer, and in awe he watched that man who wore golden robes and headscarves, and he was leading a strange animal with humps. He came to the guards. Whoa, went the guards. Oh no, we've heard of your kind. You're definitely not welcome here. You can turn around, sir. Go, 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 go. But unperturbed, the man put his hand on his heart and said, Assalamu alaikum. Ismi Walid. Amaka Tabiban. Taliban. Yeah, we've heard that. And they came closer, shaking in their boots. Salam alaikum, Ismi Walid, the man said. Well, the parrot had enough, sat right on the helmet of the head guard, looked him straight in the eye, nearly took his nose off and said, this one is saying peace be with you, and that he's a doctor. Oh, the guard threw up his hands. The other guards came closer. There was a lot of whispering and talking. Now send him away. We can't have these people. You've heard about them. They're terrible. They're dangerous. But you know we're short of doctors. You know, my mom, she needs an operation. She's been waiting for a year. Seriously. Right then, said the guard. And very carefully took 2 steps back and let the man through. The man took his beautiful animal and passed through the gates. Now Malik did not hesitate. He ran right up and stood in front of the guard as tall as he could. You again, said the guard. You don't understand English, do you? You're not welcome here. And anyway, what would a little pikey like you have to bring to our great city? Malik tossed his head proudly, held out his arm. The bird flapped and sat on his hand. And Malik said, me? I bring you the parrot. Opre Roma.
Love that. Oh, that was great. Thank you. I love parrot
Still
stories.
current. Yeah.
There was a parrot story at Hare Moon, wasn't there, Shane, when we were there? Oh, it was like a grandparent parrot. I haven't told that for ages. Like it had a song
see?
in it.
Every story triggers another story.
It
Isn't that
does, and it just
great?
kind of like reminds me of things. Shane, we definitely have a time for a story for you if you've got something else to share.
Yeah, I have actually.
Spotlight you.
Oh, that story that was very interesting because that could work on so many levels. That story,
Yeah, I
there's a
love
lot,
it.
there's a lot in it. I don't remember the other parrot story. Maybe I wasn't there at the telling of it because we weren't always all together, were we?
There was one, like there was the hunter will come. It had like a little rhyme with it. He will cast his net, he will sow his seed. Don't let yourself be caught. I'll have to remember it and tell it, but I just remember the
Wow.
little rhyme.
You're doing well to remember that, because I don't remember any of it. So
Next time.
Um,
I think it was a great story. I'm sorry I had to step away for a moment, but Evita, again, that's a great
Mm.
story. And Shane, I
Yeah.
know you're going to grace us again as only you can.
yeah, that's very kind of you. Um, so I don't want to assume that everybody knows what blackberries are. Did
I
What-
know
you?
what
what are
blackberries are.
blackberries?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a story about blackberries, a true one. Yes, I know what they are.
Okay. Oh, well, because it's blackberry season in the UK. It's a story I heard from Liz Weir. I don't know, 3-4 years back now, and I've started telling it for some reason again. I only told it once or twice before, and I've just started telling it, and it's growing on me more and more that I tell it. So this is a story about blackberry picking. So once, and it comes. Oh, well, firstly, before it comes, the story comes from bearing in mind the age that Liz is. She heard it when she was way younger from a much more mature elder man who lived on Rathlin Island, which is just a tiny island off Ireland, beautiful little island. I've visited there once actually, and I can't remember the person's name. It's a shame, but anyway, I heard Liz tell this, and she's okay with me telling it. So there was a little boy with his mum and dad, and blackberry picking season came around, and of course the first thing he said is, which most children do, is, can we go and pick some blackberries? And they said, we don't really fancy going, but it's only down the lane. You can go yourself, son. They said, oh, can I? And they said, oh, yeah. But whatever you do, get back before it gets dark, which, that's how I grew up. Come home before it gets dark. But you can be out all day doing anything as long as you got home by dark. Anyway, so that was the message to the little boy. And off he went with his little wicker basket. And there he is, down the lane, a little bit away from home, picking blackberries, and of course the rule of blackberries, which I tell children, is one for the basket and one for me. One for the basket, one for me. And some of the kids I told it to recently said, oh no, it's 3 for me and 1 for the basket. And I said, yeah, well, it can be 3 if you want. It's how it works. Anyway, there he was, kind of eating blackberries and putting blackberries in his basket to make a crumble or a pie or something. And of course, the juice, when you pick blackberries, the juice kind of goes all down your fingers and down your arms, and you get all sort of purpley black, and it's a lovely colour actually. But anyway, he was all covered, and he'd been scrambling around on his hands and his knees were dirty, and his jumper got plucked a little bit, and a little tear in his trousers where he was trying to reach something. Those thorns are buggers when you're blackberry picking. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that word, but because we're on Facebook, aren't we? But anyway, so they're devils, these thorns, for ripping your trousers and plucking your jumper, and so it was going on. Anyway, he picked a basket full, and it was a lovely day. And well, like you could long ago, if it was a lovely day, you could just take your time and just lay down in the grass, and you just watch the clouds or something. It was one of my favourite pastimes when I was a kid. And he just laid down there and he was looking at the sort of clouds, and well, he fell asleep. And well, there he was asleep. What he didn't realise is where he'd laid down was right near a fairy fort. And out of the fairy fort, the little hill, came the fairies. And they all came around. It was a bit like Gulliver's Travels, where there were hundreds of them, tiny little fairy people. And they all gathered around his body, and they picked it up, and they took him into the fairy hill. And when they got him inside the fairy hill, they got an old tin bath, filled it full of soapy water. They gently undressed him, plopped him in the water, and they began to scrub with their scrubbing brushes. And they scrubbed his elbows clean, and they scrubbed his knees clean, and they even got rid of that tide mark round your neck that we had as kids. They got rid of that tide mark round his neck. They scrubbed him everywhere. They scrubbed his feet clean. They even scrubbed his bottom clean until he was pristine clean. And while he was being bathed, well, the other fairies were gently sewing and fixing his jumper. They sewed up that tear on his trousers until, well, you couldn't see where they'd sewn it. It was such good sewing, you couldn't see where the tears and the rips were. And when they'd finished bathing him, they dressed him once again, put him back outside on that lovely grass, and he woke up. and he could see the sun was setting, and it was just night was dusk was coming, and he thought, I need to get back home. I need to get back home. He picked up his blackberries and he went running home, and he got back just as it was kind of getting dark, you know. He got a little bit of a scolding because he'd pushed it a little bit with timing. It was, you know, it was starting to get a little bit dark, and Mum and Dad were worried about him. But anyway, they sat and they gave him dinner. They sat and Mother looked at him and she said, "You're very clean." She said, "For someone who's been picking blackberries," she said, there isn't a speck of dirt on you. Your hands are not stained. There's not a speck of dirt on you." He said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "It's really strange, Mum." He said, "I picked the blackberries and I lay down and I was looking at the clouds." He said, "I fell asleep." He said, "And I had this really weird dream. I had a dream that the fairies came out of the hill and they picked me up and they took me inside the fairy hill, the castle, and they took my clothes off me and repaired my clothes, and they bathed me and scrubbed me completely clean." He said, "And then I woke up," he said, "and then I came home." He said, and his mother was looking at him with completely horror on her face. She said, "Let me have a proper look at you." And she had a proper look at him. She had a look around his neck, in his ears, his knees, his elbows, everywhere, clean as anything. His clothes were immaculate. She said, "Oh, this is not good." "What do you mean?" he said. She said, "You have been in the fairy fort." She said, "They have taken you." She said, "They will only take clean children. They have scrubbed you within an inch of your life. They will come tomorrow. They will take you, and I will never see you again." And the boy looked at his mummy. He said, "Well, I don't want to go off with the fairies, Mummy." She said, she said, "That's what's going to happen." She said, "You're too clean. Anyway, eat your dinner." And there he is, he's kind of munching his food and he's kind of eating away, and he picked up something and he went, "Oh." She said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Oh, my finger really hurts, Mum." She said, "Let me have a look. And she took his finger and she had a look. And underneath the nail, there was a tiny little black thorn. They missed this. She said, "You lucky little boy." She said, "In the morning, first thing," she said, "I want you outside playing, climbing, playing football, whatever it is. Make sure you come home dirty every day of your life, my son." And I say this to any child that I talk to when I tell them stories in the woods. Make sure you go out and you come home dirty every day because you've been playing outside. That's the story of the boy and the blackberries.
Yay! I love that one, Shane.
Yeah, I do too.
I remember as a kid, like running down. There was a place called the Dell, which was like, it was just kind of like this dirt track to like this kind of and there were loads of bluebells down there. And I just remember those being my favorite times. So you come home and like your feet would be dirty and like, you know, and again,
Yeah.
like you say, we just played out until I remember when I was 7, my mum just going, "Off you go."
Yeah.
Like 3 miles away, up a
Yeah.
tree somewhere.
It was unreal, wasn't it? It was just
Yeah. Whole other
My
world.
just talking to blackberries, the dog that we've got now, she's quite young still. She's seen us eat blackberries. So now she picks blackberries off the bush. And our
Wow.
previous dog, Dexter, who lived to be 16, we used to go and pick blackberries, and he did exactly the same. He realized we were eating them. So
Yeah.
then he began to pick them off the bush. And you bearing in mind, they're full of thorns, blackberry bushes, but they can just very gently, gingerly just pull off the right blackberries. And he doesn't eat the green ones or the red ones. It's only the black ones he pulls off and eats. And 2 of our
Nice.
dogs have done it. It's amazing.
He knows.
They know.
Lovely.
I
And
didn't
Baba
realize
C,
that blackberries were Pan-African because they're green, red, and when they're ripe, they're black. And the color- That's impressive.
they are
Excellent.
everything. And we are going to finish with one last true story from Baba C, keeping on that blackberry theme.
So Shane, this was inspired by you. It is a true story. And we had to be in before dark or when the street lights came on. And there was something going on and the street lights were coming on way before dark. And my father came out to get us and punish us because we weren't in. It was daylight, but the street lights are on. But that's not what the story has to deal with. So a long time ago, when this beard was black and I had hair under here, I was what they call a residential camp counselor. And that meant that we lived at the camp for about 10 days running. We pick up kids on a Monday, return them on a Saturday, and then pick up a new bunch of kids. Okay. So I had a cabin that I was responsible for. And my guys and we had a great time. I think they liked me because I wasn't like any other adult they had met. Barry, now, I'm only about 17. I hadn't turned 18 yet. So anyhow, the berry story. So one day my guys, I don't know exactly how it came up, but they wanted to know if they could go out and collect berries. I said, well, sure, let me go and ask Cook if we can get some cans to put the berries in. So we went out and we picked some. Oh, I know how it came. But anyhow, we went out and we picked berries. And so we had all these berries. And of course, you had to be careful because of the thorns. And quite a few of us got nicked with the thorns, including myself. And we had all these berries and we went back to Cook. And my guys wanted to know if we could make dessert or pie. I said, let me talk to Cook. 3 things when you are at a camp or you're in any facility that serves food: be friends with the cook. So I went in and I said, Cook, could we, my guys, we went blueberry, and that we had to get up early in the morning to do this. I mean, early, the sun was barely coming up. And I said, my guys picked all these blueberries and want to know if they can make a blackberry, and want to know if they can make a blackberry pie. She said, your guys? I said, yes. She said, yes, I'm going to town today to get some more supplies, and I'll pick up the stuff to make fresh blackberry pies. And I said, well, they would like to help. She said, you can pick 2. She didn't let anybody cook in her kitchen for real, but you emphasize me, but you can pick 2. And so I picked 2 of my guys to help her. Longer story shortened. So she got the supplies, my guys went in and they fixed these pies. Now, mind you, we had invited the other cabins to go with us to pick blackberries. That's very important. And they all said no. But they could smell this delicious dessert coming from the kitchen while we were eating dinner. Well, if you're in the South, supper. And so they could smell all this. And so finally, she put the blackberry pies on the pass-through, and my guys came and picked them up. And now everybody wants blackberry pies. She said, no, 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 no. No. C gave you a chance to go blackberry picking with him. You all said no. These are for his table only, and for the administrative staff, because his guys have said that's okay. Now, there was one other counselor who was pretty cool with me, so I got a pie for him. But he had to divvy up with his kids. But anyhow, so they're all, and then she surprised us. She brought out vanilla ice cream. So my table, my guys, my cabin, we all had, and we had more than one pie. So we had blackberry pie, vanilla ice cream, and the envy of the rest of the cabins. Now, I tell this story because this is a story about rewards. This is a story about effort. This is a story about getting out what you put in. My guys got up early in the morning. They went and picked blackberries, then took the blackberries to the kitchen, ran back down to the to where our cabins were so they could shower, because you had to be clean. She didn't want no dirty people in her. We didn't call it a mess hall. So anyhow, my guys reaped the rewards. And the rewards were, they were early, they got up early, they picked the pies, they dealt with the thorns, and they helped fix dessert that became the envy of the camp. And from that point on, whenever I invited a cabin to do an activity with my group, they said yes. Asante. Thank you.
That's brilliant, Babasi. That's like a real life Little Red Hen story, when Little Red Hen plants the seed
Yes,
and no one
yes,
help
yes,
it. It's like,
yes.
like in
But
reality.
I can still taste that pie. It was one of the most delicious pies I ever had in my life. But it was
Nice.
good. And I was really surprised because these were city kids that got
Yeah.
up early in the morning to go pick up. And it was a long walk. It was not an easy walk. We walked for 15 to 20, maybe 30 minutes to get to the blackberry patches. But anyhow, that's my
Nice.
true story. I wanted to share it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shane, for
so
reminding me.
much. Thank you, everybody. It's just been an awesome night. It's been really lovely. I've just enjoyed hearing everything and telling, and thank you so much for being here. So things that I might have to remind you, because John reminded me to. So Rona Barber is doing stories for children, which I believe is 6 o'clock on Friday on the World Storytelling Cafe.
Yes,
We
it is.
will be back here on the Wednesday, the 1st of October. It's our October Tales and Tunes. So please come again and share your tales and your tunes and your poems and anything else that you want to share. But thank you again for an awesome night. I think we should all give everybody a round of applause. That was so much fun. And
And
thank
I'd
you
like
to
to
everybody.
remind everybody that the difference between a good day and a great day is you. So choose to be a great day.
I will. All right. I'm going to say good night, everybody. Take care. And I will see you again next month if I don't see you before.
Good to see
Thanks,
you
Wally,
all.
for
Yeah,
finding the
guys.
magic
Good to
carpet
see you
ride.
all.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Everybody
Bye
take
bye.
care.
Bye.
Shane, you're looking good. I'm growing my beard back.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
So do you, Keith. I'm not getting in trouble with the Legion of the Beards. All right.
See you soon. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Everyone stay
Bye bye.
blessed.
Bye bye.
All right, Wally. C out.